Today we're going to watch the movie recap of one of the best-selling Chinese movies of all time called Dying to Survive, which is based on a true story. Da Yong is a small business owner of a struggling health supplement shop, barely able to pay the rent. He has an elderly father in a nursing home and his wife has divorced him, taking their child with her. However, Da Yong is very filial, taking good care of his father. He is also a good father. When his son asks for sports shoes, Da Yong hesitates due to their financial struggles, but ultimately gives all the money in his wallet to his son. His ex-wife wants to take their son abroad and promises Da Yong some money, but Da Yong is unwilling. Da Yong's brother-in-law, Cao Zheng, is a police officer who sees Da Yong as a scoundrel. One day, a neighbor introduces him to a man named Lu Yong, a leukemia patient. Lu Yong hopes Da Yong can help him bring back some medicine from India, explaining that domestic drugs are too expensive for patients. In India, they only cost 2,000 yuan a bottle and are just as effective. This presents a huge business opportunity, but smuggling is a serious crime, and with the price difference being 20 times, the risk is even greater. Da Yong initially doesn't plan to do this. Lu Yong leaves his contact information, saying he is waiting for the medicine to save his life and departs urgently. Lu Yong's words touch Da Yong slightly, but he just glances at the contact information and disregards it. Da Yong's father collapses in the nursing home, and the doctor informs Da Yong that his father has a vascular tumor, which could be fatal if it ruptures. Da Yong cannot afford the high medical expenses. That night, while drinking alone, he repeatedly thinks of calling his ex-wife, but ends up putting his phone down. Caught between his father and his son, Da Yong has no grand ambitions. He just wants his family to be safe and sound. But this wish becomes a luxury at that moment. Suddenly, Da Yong remembers Lu Yong's contact information. He runs back to the shop, but finds that the landlord has locked him out due to unpaid rent. He climbs in through the window and finds the business card. After investigating, he confirms that the medicine is fine. Da Yong contacts Lu Yong, asking for an advance payment and guarantees that the medicine will sell. He sets off for India, leveraging his past connections to find a generic drug factory. To his surprise, the price he finds is astonishing. The 2,000 yuan is the retail price. The factory's wholesale price is only 500 yuan. Da Yong immediately buys 100 bottles and agrees with the factory that if he sells out within a month, he can become the domestic agent. After returning with the medicine, he and Lu Yong go to the hospital and even sell door to door, but no one pays attention. Patients worry it might be fake medicine. At this point, Lu Yong remembers a person, Si Fang, a group leader of a patient support group whose daughter has leukemia. Upon hearing the news, Si Fang immediately agrees to help. With her assistance, the medicine sells quickly. While selling the medicine, a young man with yellow hair, Huang Mao, openly tries to steal some. Huang Mao is a rural boy who ran away after learning he had leukemia, not wanting to burden his family. When Da Yong learns of Huang Mao's tragic circumstances, he softens and takes him in to help with the work. The medicine sells out quickly. To secure the agent status and obtain more drugs, Da Yong contacts a pastor who is a patient, and thanks to the pastor's fluent English, he secures the domestic agency. Da Yong's drug business takes off, selling incredibly well. Though not cheap, for the patients facing exorbitantly priced drugs, it's their only lifeline. Patients keep quiet to protect Da Yong. One day, a patient's family approaches Da Yong, claiming that after taking his medicine, the patient has health issues. After thorough inquiries, it becomes clear that the problem is not with Da Yong's medicine, but with fake drugs being sold by a man named Zhang Changlin. Da Yong and his associates confront Zhang at his drug sales meeting, getting into a physical fight and going to the police station to report him for selling fake medicine. Later, Zhang proactively seeks out Da Yong, offering him 2 years' worth of profits for the supply and warning him that this way of selling won't last long. Da Yong disregards Zhang's threats. The next day, as Da Yong is restocking, he receives a call from Zhang warning him that the police are on their way. Sure enough, the police arrive to inspect, and Da Yong narrowly avoids getting caught. At this moment, Da Yong realizes how dangerous his situation has become. It must be said that Dayong has indeed changed the lives of those around him. Lu Yong takes Dayong home to see his son, sharing that when he first learned of his illness, his child was not yet born and he had lost all hope. But now, he longs to hear his child call him Dad, and is deeply grateful to Dayong for giving him medicine and hope. Unfortunately, many patients like Lu Yong exist in society, but few are fortunate enough to have a benefactor. On a rainy night, as they enjoy hot pot and drinks, Dayong suddenly grows quiet, expressing gratitude for their fate, but stating that every banquet must come to an end. He announces that he will stop selling medicine starting tomorrow. In the end, Dayong transfers his supply to Zhang Changlin, and everyone at the table falls silent. They raise a glass to Dayong and thank him before leaving into the rain. Is Dayong wrong? Not at all. He is just an uneducated scoundrel wanting to make money. What would happen if he got caught with an elderly father and a young son? Dayong surely wishes it could continue this way, earning money while saving lives. But reality cannot be ignored. It cannot always have a happy ending. A year later, Dayong becomes the owner of a textile factory. One day, as he's leaving, Lu Yong's wife stops his car, telling him that Lu Yong's condition has worsened. Due to John's overpriced medicine, patients have stopped supporting him, leading to police raids. She pleads with Dayong to help get more medicine, not wanting her child to lose a father. After much thought, Dayong visits Lu Yong in the hospital and witnesses his suffering. Dayong feels immense guilt and decides to contact the pastor again, planning to return to India for more medicine. Before he leaves, Lu Yong succumbs to his illness, but smiles at his child before passing. Upon returning to China, Dayong emerges from Lu Yong's funeral to see many patients looking at him. He decides to buy medicine to help them again, this time selling it for only 500 yuan. His former associates return to help him, and he persuades Huang Mao to shave his head and return home. Huang Mao admits he used to look down on Dayong, but not anymore. Meanwhile, drug dealers continually pressure the police to take action, and Cao Zheng is forced to launch an investigation. He confiscates the smuggled medicine, but not a single patient cooperates with his investigation. At this point, an elderly sick woman speaks up, pleading with Cao Zheng not to investigate the smuggled drugs any further. She explains that she spent all her savings on imported medicine over 3 years, while the smuggled drugs only cost 500 yuan. The drug dealers aren't making profits, they are saving lives. The old woman sadly says that if Dayong is arrested, they will all die. She still wants to live. Cao Zheng approaches his superiors, hoping to halt the investigation, but is told that the law outweighs feelings and cannot be changed. The down-and-out Zhang Changlin approaches Dayong again, demanding 300,000 yuan as hush money, saying that illness is fundamentally a poverty issue with no cure. Not long after, Zhang is arrested again, but this time he does not betray Dayong. Cao Zheng finds the recording of Dayong's testimony against Zhang from earlier and investigates Dayong but finds little suspicious. Huang Mao, having cut his hair, plans to return home soon. While transporting medicine, he goes to the bathroom, only to see the security report them. In a panic, Huang Mao rushes back, seizes a car, and tries to escape. But in his haste, he is struck by a large truck and loses his life. This child, who had just decided to return home, is gone forever. Dayong is devastated, even getting into a physical altercation with Cao Zheng in the hospital. Sitting on Huang Mao's bed, he looks at the train ticket meant for home, filled with anguish. After this incident, Cao Zheng voluntarily requests to stop investigating the case. Under pressure from the pharmaceutical factory, the Indian drug factory is shut down, but Dayong does not give up. He continues to buy retail drugs from India at 2,000 yuan a bottle and sells them for 500, distributing them nationwide to save countless patients. Dayong sends his son abroad, something he once fought against, but now does so willingly, a bittersweet decision. While delivering medicine again, the police arrive. Despite this, Dayong tries to stand against the police to let the patients escape, but it's in vain. Dayong stands in court against the pharmaceutical factory, which seeks to severely punish him. He doesn't defend himself much, simply acknowledging his guilt and accepting the sentence, saying, "I am guilty. I plead guilty." But looking at the patients, he feels immense sadness, knowing they cannot afford the exorbitant drugs and are left to wait for death. He hopes for the day when things will improve to come soon. We all wish for a miracle in Dayong's sentencing. But it doesn't happen. Dayong is led away, asking Cao Zhen to tell his son that his father is not a bad person. Along the way, patients Dayong has helped line the streets, removing their masks to bid him farewell. Dayong glances at the crowd, faintly seeing Huang Mao and Lu Yong among them. With tears in his smiles gratefully. In the end, Dayong's fate hangs in the balance, leaving us to ponder the ultimate implications of his journey and the lives he touched.